And welcome back to the Big Sky Digital Media Day. We've moved on to the Eastern men's basketball team. We got head coach Jim Hayford here and senior Julian Harrell. And guys, just thank you both for taking in the time, and we'll just go ahead and get the questions, roll it right into the questions with Coach Hayford. And Coach, what were some of your goals coming off of the offseason here? You guys prepare for another successful season.
Well, it's great to be a part of this event, and greetings from Cheney. I think my goals this offseason, the first one is I really kind of wanted to fine-tune my own coaching philosophy after 17 years as a head coach. My son went off to college. He's a freshman in college. My daughter's a junior in college, and so it's kind of just a realization that, you know, when my players look at me, they're looking at someone similar in age to their father, and so, you know, what does that mean? And kind of thinking about that, and just realizing that I'm kind of entering a new decade as a coach. So that really actually was something that I spent a lot of time on this off season thinking about. I wanted to lose some weight, lost some weight. The banquet circuit's not as good the year. It's better when you go to the NCAA tournament. I wanted to get my golf handicap under 10, didn't do that. I wanted to raise a couple $100,000 for our program, we did do that. And then really to give my players the best possible trip of a lifetime by taking them to Australia, which involved raising some money and putting together just something that the rest of their life they would say, this is one of the highlights of my college years. And so once you put all your attention into all those things, that last game in March, it goes fast, and here we are ready to get after it again. So that was kind of what consumed my off season.
Now, you did speak about the unique opportunity to go to Australia. That's an opportunity that the NCAA allows teams to do every 5 years, is to go out and play international games in that month of August. You know, how do you see? How did that help you guys prepare for this 2016 season?
Well, we have 5 Aussies on our team, and we try to recruit an Australian a year. And obviously, the most famous Australian who's come through Eastern was Venke Joyce, who just graduated. And so, I think a real big part of the experience was letting those guys be able to play in front of their families. You know, when you realize, you know, a guy like Felix, who's in his 4th year here, you know, his parents come over once a year and for 10 days or 12 days to see as many games as they can. But that for all those families to get to see their sons play 8 games in a couple-week period of time, I think that was something that was really good. Unfortunately, while we were there, we were hit by the injury bug, but the silver lining in that is a lot of young players got a lot of playing experience before they'd ever really done a day of class. They'd gone to summer school, and so I think that showed us a lot of things about some of the youth in our team and guys having to step up to different roles. And so it was just a great time together. We had a lot of fun. Whether it's swimming on the Great Barrier Reef or being on the Sydney Harbor or having meals together or just meeting new and interesting people, or, you know, the guys, you know, when they were enjoying these big cities, Sydney and Melbourne, they were doing it after I went to bed a few nights, but I think they had a great time doing that as well. And so it was just a really neat thing for our program to be able to do.
Now, tell us a little bit about your team here. You do graduate the all-time leading scorer in Vinky, but you guys have a lot of talent coming back. You guys have Bogdan coming back. You have Julian that will be a contributor, and then you also bring in a transfer in Jake Wiley, who was a 2-time NAIA All-American. So just talk a little bit about the makeup of your team and just kind of what fans can expect out of the Eagles this year.
Well, you know, everybody in the Big Sky is returning a lot of talent. It's my 6th year at Eastern. And which was kind of a record. I think that's the longest anybody's made it through here at Division I, in the Division I era at Eastern. So that's kind of neat. But in my 6 years, this is the best year the whole conference is. And so we lost obviously 2 big key components in Austin and Benke, but we have a lot of pieces that we're really proud of that helped us to, you know, last year was Eastern's 3rd best season, their 3rd most wins in a Division I season. And we think they're pretty good. And they obviously will move into new roles when you have guys like Benke and Austin, who was the leading scorer in the conference, graduate. and Benke the all-time leading scorer in your program. But they want to step up. They want to do those things. And both Bogdan, Felix, and Julian are all, that 6'5", 6'6". They can all shoot the three. Julian and Bogdan are very versatile in that they have a drive game, they have a post-up game, and so that's some great experience right there. And you put that with Sir Washington, who as a freshman got significant minutes on our NCAA tournament team, and so you got 4 guys who've been in the program who are upperclassmen who will likely start, and then we think we got a really good impact player. Jake Wiley led Lewis and Clark State. They were the #1 seed in the NAIA tournament last year, and he was their best player, first-team All-American for 2 years. In Australia, he averaged over 20 points a game for us. And so our upperclassmen are really, really good. And but there's a lot of teams that are saying that. And there's a lot of really good coaches in this league. So we got our work cut out. We just see it as a really big challenge, and we're going to lean on the leadership of our program. And we're fortunate to have 5 guys with significant experience that we can start a ball game with. And then we got some really good guys in that freshman and sophomore class, and it's going to be up to what they're, if they can play consistently and up to the highest level that they're capable of. If we do all that, then we're going to be a part of the conversation. And so we're just leaning into the hard work and enjoying every day.
And then a question here for Julian. What are you come in here, it's your senior season. What are some of your goals for yourself, and what are maybe some of the expectations you have for you and your teammates this season?
As far as personal goals, Coach Hayford's challenged me to be a leader on this team. We lost 2 seniors last year. Excuse me. And the biggest challenge for myself is to lead this group to be the best we can possibly be. It's really my only focus. And as a team, just work as hard as we can every day, and go out and perform and be confident in each other and just play as a team.
Now, last season was a group that accomplished something that's never been accomplished here at Eastern Washington. You guys were part of your first ever postseason win as an NCAA program. You guys beat Pepperdine in the CBI. What does it mean for you just to be part of that special team and being able to accomplish that here at Eastern?
It means a lot to me. My goal when I come places is to try to leave my mark. I try to accomplish new things and achieve, very high, how would you put this? Exceed expectations when I go new places. And so to be on the first postseason win be a part of that was really cool, and try to build on that this year.
All right. Well, we will head to our phone questions here. We'll ask our first question here real quick. You're on with Coach Hayford and Julian.
Go ahead, Coulter.
Hey, this question's for Coach Hayford. The whole league teams come out the other day, and it's pretty much all guards. I know this has always been a guard-oriented league, but it seems like it'll be like that this year more than ever. Why do you think that is, and where do you think your team fits into that aspect of the league?
That was from Coulter. Yeah, I love that Skyline Sports. That's great for the league. I talked to my guys when it was released and just talked about, here's why we're having to do some things defensively. Look at these top 6 players in the league. They're all guards, and we're going to have to do some things to get the ball out of their hands. When I saw the list, there's a part of me that kind of liked it because the strength of my team is kind of the opposite of all those other teams. And we got a great front court, with Jake, Bogdan, and Julian across that front line. That's going to maybe hit some other teams where they have a weakness. And so we're going to be versatile. A big part of our offense is interchangeability. I expect us to still be very efficient offensively. We're still going to shoot a lot of threes. You're going to have 4 or 5 shooters on the court. We like to play, turn the court downhill. Maybe not play quite as fast as we have, but it'll still be steep, and we'll shoot them from deep. And so what you're seeing with all those guards, I think, in recruiting, it's hard to get big guys at the Big Sky, at any mid-major for that matter. It's just hard to get real good. If you're a decent big guy coming out of high school, you're going to get recruited high major. And so that means the pool of players is a lot bigger at the skill positions. And you got a lot of great coaches in the league, and they're good recruiters, and they evaluate talent. And so, you know, those 6 guards are all high major guards playing in a mid-major league because we got some really good coaches, and the pool of players at that position is deeper and bigger.
Hi. Next question here for our online callers.
I'll ask another one if I can. Am I still up?
Yep, you can ask another one.
Sure. Coach, I just wanted to ask you about just this kind of the state of mid-major basketball as well. I know a couple years ago you guys had some really nice wins and kind of climbed up in those in the mid-major status. Where do you think of just the league right now, where it fits into the mid-major landscape, and what's the Big Sky need to do to take a next step into becoming one of the top-tier mid-major leagues in the country?
Well, the state of mid-major basketball is hard because the money, you know, where's the money, there's where the power is. And, you know, they call them the Power 5 conferences. But what it means in mid-major basketball, it's just really, really hard to get home games. The more home games you have, the more wins you have. The more wins you have, the higher your RPI is. And so, you know, we're in a league where I think almost all of us are out having to generate revenue by playing and getting money, as opposed to the schools that have the money to give. Now, when you go there and win, and you get road wins, then the RPI goes up, and that's the challenge that we all have to do. So the Big Sky, you know, our conference RPI, I think we're a lot stronger of a league, but when you look at how few home games our league is playing, that's what's pulling it down. Now, at the end of the day, being a mid-major means you're a one-bid league. And so it is what it is. How good are you going to be in March? So it's just the challenge of it. It is what it is, and you're kind of fighting the man. But you got to just embrace that challenge. And, you know, this year we play at Texas, at Northwestern, at Xavier, at Colorado. And, you know, maybe you do it right. You know, our football team did it this year at Washington State. We did it a couple years ago at Indiana. And when you do, it's big time for your school, but you just have a huge challenge that the Power 5 conferences just aren't facing.
We're going to move it on over to our questions in-house here. We'll move it over to Jim Allen and the Spokesman Review. Jim?
Thank you. Jim, can you talk a little more about the backcourt? And I know you're facing a lot of tough guards out there in the Sky, but who are some of the players you're going to be relying on in the backcourt to fill some of those spots?
Well, I think you're going to see a high stat line out of both Bogdan and Julian, because we're going to run a lot of our playmaking through those guys, not necessarily just through the point guard position. And so, you know, Bogdan had the first triple-double in school history last year, and I think that's a stat that him and Julian, you know, should chase after, because they're going to have the opportunity to do that. Jake will be a finisher. Felix is, you know, we're going to keep him behind the three-point line where he's best. But to answer your question, that leads really to Sir, Washington, Luca, who's a very, very good freshman coming in with really good size. He's 6'5", close to 6'6" as a point guard. And then we got some other shooters in Cody Benzel and Ty Gibson behind them. And so that's kind of the question mark, is how are these younger guys going to do, and how can Sir do stepping up into a bigger role? They're athletic enough, they're skilled enough. It's just a matter of the hardest thing in life is getting experience. And so as they gain experience, they're going to be good, and then we're going to be really good in March.
You told me a couple weeks ago about getting better on defense. Now, how does having a tough front court help you in the Big Sky in terms of defense, especially inside?
Well, I've been a head coach 17 years now, and my best field goal percentage defensive teams have been my bigger teams. And this is going to be a bigger team. We're probably bigger than our opponent at each position. Maybe not the 4, but definitely the 1, 2, 3, and 5. And so I expect us to do a better job of field goal percentage defense and rebounding. You know, the better rebounding team you are, that's gonna. If you're not doing good on the boards, then the team misses a shot, makes a shot. That's 50% field goal percentage right there. And so, I think that by having more size, better rebounding, maybe not extend our defense so much, we're gonna lower our field goal percentage defense.
A couple questions for Julian. A year ago, you weren't playing because you were injured. How big of a difference does this make for you, being fully healthy and getting into the season running right away?
Makes a huge difference. Having a full summer and then, you know, the full preseason leading up to the first game is huge. You get to establish a rhythm with your team. You get to get into your own personal rhythm. You don't have to get back in shape after being hurt. It feels good. It feels really good.
How was that bonding experience in Australia, seeing some of these new guys getting a chance to play and also being a leader for these younger players?
Australia was an amazing experience. Like Coach said, we did get hit by the injury bug a little bit, so I didn't play every game, and Bogdan didn't play. So that did open the door for some of the younger guys to step up, and Luka accepted the challenge, and I was really impressed with how he played. And it was a great all-around bonding experience because, like he said, there were most of the time we weren't playing, so we were hanging out with each other, going to get food, you know, swimming in the Great Barrier Reef together, and all that stuff. I think is gonna bode well over the season.
You're one of the seniors. You also have a newcomer in Jake Wiley coming on. Now, how is he bonding with the group? I know he's only here for 1 year, but he is a senior. And what kind of leadership is he also providing along with his playing skills?
Jake is a fantastic athlete. He's a great person, and he is one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. So as far as him coming in being a leader, he leads by example every single day. He's vocal, and he bonds really well. He bonded really well with our team. He meshes well. He doesn't really have a big ego, so everything he just fits right into the puzzle.
Now, in contrast to last year, you guys get a lot of home games in comparison. What does that mean for you, not having to travel as much as you did last year, getting to show these fans what you guys are about early in the season?
I'm actually a fan of road games. I like playing on the road. You know, it's kind of your team versus everybody, but there's nothing like playing here at Reese in front of the fans. We shot the lights out here last year, so hopefully we can keep that up. And it's good to be able to be at home a little more often and not, you know, have to deal with the exhaustion from traveling and going on road trips for, 15 days or playing, 4 or 5 straight games on the road.
Thank you, Jim, for all those questions, and we'll go back here. Coach Hayford, just want to talk a little bit about the conference tournament itself. Last year they moved to a format where it's a single site here in Reno. How would you describe your experience last season, and what would your message be to fans here in Cheney to get them down to Reno as tickets start going on sale November 14th?
Well, I'd tell our fans come to Reno. You get to see both the women and the men's team. We won one and lost a close one to Idaho there, so I want to stay there longer. I think it was a great experience for the players. One of the things I really enjoyed was seeing the players from different teams being able to visit with each other, whether it's in the hallways or eating a meal. They all share a very similar journey. They're all college students. They're traveling through the same cities, and they're competing against one another. And so by having the conference tournament that way, I think it kind of let some more community happen between, these people that are going at it hard on the court. I thought that was a really neat component of it. And for us, some of our international parents, it let them come and extend their trip a little bit longer because they knew where they were going to be. And so that was kind of a neat thing for it. And so I just hope we'll get more people there and maybe be able to market it a little bit better there in Reno so that more people are watching our guys play.
And then talking about, Jim's already asked Julian about this, but I want to ask you yourself. You guys have a big home schedule. You guys have 16 regular season home games. It's the most regular season home games Eastern has had since 1999-2000 season. So it's honestly the first time this century that Eastern has hosted that many home games. And then also it's a quality schedule. You guys play 4 teams that would finish the year in the top 150 in the RPI last year. So it's a challenging schedule. It's a good schedule. It's an abundant schedule. So what would your message be to the fans here in the Cheney-Spoken area to help get them to Reese Court and help you guys protect the nest?
What I'd tell all the Eastern fans is November and December is going to be some great Eastern Washington times. I'd say, number one, we're going to ride a great football season, hopefully deep into December. And after you've been cold outside watching the football games, come into the heat of Reese Court and enjoy watching your Eagle team at home. Most of the time, our teams in November, December are developed out on the road. They're kind of a secret. But we kind of paid the price by doing this tournament with Sacramento State. We went there first, so now we get that one by doing a 3-year contract with a company on the MTEs. That brought the MTE tournament to us, so we kind of paid it forward, and that brought us 4 home games that way. Morehead State couldn't get here last year for travel. That brings them here this year. And so it's great to have more home than away games, and it might be 16 years till it happens again. So come on out here and watch and enjoy it.
And then a question here for Julian here. Back in the past, coaches called you a triple threat by being able to shoot, drive, and pass the ball. How do you approach games, and then how do you adjust to maximize your abilities?
I approach each game differently. I try to watch a lot of film on the team we're going to play, both offensively and defensively. And within the first few minutes of the game, I can kind of I try to feel out how the defense is going to play. So if it's a game where I need to pass, then I don't have a problem doing that. But if it's a game where I need to be aggressive offensively, then I try to have my skill set at a point where I can do that if called upon.
And speaking of here, you're not the only Big Sky athlete in your family. You have a brother who plays football with Northern Colorado who was just here a couple weeks ago. So just kind of talk about that. Do you guys have a friendly sibling rivalry between the two whenever Eastern and Northern meet either on the basketball court or the football field?
Actually, he plays for UC Davis.
UC Davis.
Yeah,
Sorry,
okay.
UC Davis. Sorry.
But there was some friendly banter between us. But I mean, at the end of the day, I want to see my little brother do well, and I pull for him as hard as he pulls for me, and I have no doubt that he's my biggest fan, and I'm his biggest fan in return. But there's definitely some trash talk involved.
And then we'll ask our final question here. Coach, we'll go back to you for this one. What's been your biggest source of pride in the development of your program over the last 5 years? You guys have done a lot of things here since you came in 5 seasons ago. What's been some of your proudest moments here as a coach?
Well, my proudest moment was making the NCAA tournament. Winning against Pepperdine in the CBI was great, but making the NCAA tournament was probably my proudest moment. But more than anything else, it's just that we've been able to do it with some really, really great guys, and all of them have graduated, and so we're doing it right. We have a brotherhood amongst our players that I think is really, really special. And then we couldn't have done it without just tremendous support of the community. We've had a lot of people be extremely generous so that we could be competitive budget-wise. I mean, all of our international recruiting, that's fundraised dollars. And so just that connection with the community, doing it with great guys. And I don't take a single win for granted. They're hard. They're hard to get, especially in the Big Sky. Road wins are precious. And doing it against a lot of great coaches and some real established programs. So hopefully we can keep advancing that. Nothing good comes easy, so it's going to be tough, but our guys are willing to work hard and get it done.
All right. Well, Coach, Julian, we appreciate your time for coming in here. We're almost out of time here on the Big Sky Digital Media Day. Just a couple of reminders. The men's team opens its exhibition season next Sunday, October 30th, against St. Martin's out of the GNAC. It'll be a 2:05 tip-off here at Reese Court, so if you're in the area, please come out. Admission is free to that game. And then also you guys open the season against Linfield on November 11th for a 12:05 tip-off here in Cheney. So if you're in the area, come out for that. Also, a reminder that our Eagle Madness will be next Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. at Reese Court. Come out and get your first look at the Eagles men's and women's teams this year. And once again, season tickets are on sale for the men's and women's team. Family 4-packs are on sale for the men's team. $100 gets you 4 general admission tickets for all 16 home games. It's the best deal around, so take advantage of that. Guys, we thank you very much for coming in here. Thank you for tuning in, and go Eags.